Hello and welcome to Chloe Harriet. I am of course Chloe. This is the place of positivity where we talk about how to make the mediocre into something more magical and go on a search for peace and purpose. So today I want to talk about habit building and the importance of building habits and how to build good habits. Our life, the outcome of it, it's essentially what we've created from what we've done each day. It is essentially the knock-on effect of all of our daily habits. That is how our life is going to be. Our habits affect how we feel and kind of our quality of life. So I want to talk about building positive habits. Little side note before we get too far into it. I am sat in front of the window and it's really bright outside, so sorry if I'm really squinty. Habit building is something I've been working on the past year, and I've definitely noticed the positive effects of new habits, the right habits that is. I kind of go through phases. I'll have a few weeks where I'll be on it with all of my habits and life will feel wonderful, everything will be great. I will be regularly going running, I will be meditating daily, I'll be writing a lot, I will be reflecting on my goals a lot. All of those things, they make me feel better and they make me more productive and they make my life more the type of thing I want it to be. It's the idea of picturing your highest self and showing up for her. When you build those good habits, you're kind of a step closer to becoming that person that you want to be, because we all have in our mind somebody who we want to be, who is possibly better than we are. Maybe better is not the right word, but there is definitely a version of us who is more polished, who is more successful and more productive, and that version of ourselves often has all these good habits which we can easily forget about. So today I want to talk about building those habits, because those habits are a stepping stone to becoming closer to the person you want to be. Right, so how to build positive habits. Firstly, the most important thing before building a habit is know why you want to do it. There's no point saying, okay, I want to meditate every day, if you don't know why you want to meditate. Whereas if you can think, okay, I want to meditate every day because I know it's really good for my mind, I know I feel better throughout the day, and I know I treat people nicer if I have those 5 minutes to myself. That is the why. But if you don't put in the why, it's easy to skip a day. It's easy to just miss it. So I like to get up and write morning pages. And I write morning pages because I tend to have a more productive day if I do, because I've emptied out my mind first thing. And in those morning pages I kind of freestyle it and write whatever I fancy. Sometimes I will talk about my goals and my plans for the day. Other times I will get things off my mind. But either way, it sets me up for the day right. But if I didn't know that it made such a positive impact, I would think, oh, actually, I didn't want to spend 20 minutes writing in a journal in the morning, I want to spend an extra 20 minutes in bed. So maybe sometimes you do need to test things and see how they make you feel, but sometimes it's only in the doing them that you can see what's a waste of time and what works for you. But definitely know why you want to do it. Even if maybe the why doesn't work out, you can have an idea, okay, this might do this, so I'm going to try it, and you can try it and see. With the morning pages, my why is it makes me feel better, I have a more productive day, I enjoy writing, it's a good place for me to practice my writing. I've got a reason I'm doing it. If I didn't have that reason, I'd much rather have those 20 minutes in bed. The next one, I'm going to talk about something which I have recently actually changed how I do. So I'm going to talk about two different ways of doing it. I'm going to talk about habit trackers. So I've always had a bullet journal up until recently. I will actually go and grab one though to show you what I mean. So up until recently I always used a bullet journal. Recently I have stopped using a bullet journal just because I fancied going old school and going back to a normal diary. But in my bullet journal I've always tracked my habits and my moods, so I could see how they correlate. And that's a good way to help build habits, is if you understand how they make you feel, as I mentioned in my previous point, and also my productivity as well. So I'll just show you like here. I'm not sure how much you can see them, probably not at all. I don't think you can really see them, so sorry about that. You can't see them because of the lighting, but I would just write down all the habits that I'm trying to build and colour in each day that I completed the habit, and then at the end of the day I would also fit in a colour for my mood. And that's great because you have a very visual way of seeing what you're doing. And sometimes I think as human beings we have a habit of thinking we're doing more than we are. We make up excuses so much that we believe them. But if you actually look at Habit Tracker and all month say, I don't know, say I wanted to do more poetry writing, if all month I hadn't coloured in a single square of poetry writing, I know I didn't have an excuse every day that month. I know that it's just me slacking, and I know that it's somewhere I need to put my energy back into. And it kind of holds you responsible because you can actually see what you're doing and what you're not doing. But doing them in a bullet journal, I did find it to be quite time consuming. I really liked doing it some nights, and then some nights I'd be really tired and I didn't want to sit and colour in a load of squares. So then I got an app. It is called Momentum. Maybe I'll pop my phone screen or pop the little app symbol on the screen, but it's called Momentum, and it's essentially the same thing, but you just tap the colour on the app, tap the colour square. So it's a lot easier to kind of do on the go. As you do something, you can literally pop it in your habit tracker. It's a really good way to actually know if you're building the habits rather than just thinking you are. And it's a good way to hold yourself accountable because you have to say, I've done that. No, I haven't done that. Right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is when you have a bad day. So when we have a bad day, a lot of the times habits go to shit. When you feel like shit, you don't feel like getting stuff done. And if kind of life's a bit hard, the last thing on your mind is going for that run you'd promised yourself you'd go for, which is fine. Every now and then we all have an off day, and that is okay. But I want to say that with habit building, okay, you miss a day, but don't let that make it okay for you to miss the next day. Bad days don't have to turn into bad weeks or bad months or bad years. So if you skip a day, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just get back on it the next day. Don't skip a day and then the next day go, oh well, I didn't do it yesterday and the world didn't end, so I guess it doesn't matter. Because yeah, the world didn't end, but there's also a reason you want to be doing that thing in the first place. So reevaluate whether it's actually useful for you to be doing it. There's no point building a habit which isn't serving you, but as long as it is serving you, just get back to it. And sometimes it's about doing it even if it's not done well. I go through phases with running, so I was going most days and then I went on a couple of holidays, and for ages I didn't get back into it afterwards because I didn't just go on that first run. This week I've got back into it, which is great news, but that first run I didn't want to do it, but I knew as soon as I did that first one, I'm back to doing it. It's back to being something I do in my day now. It's not something I'm putting off, it's something I've done, it's something I do. And I did a fairly easy run, but it wasn't about the quality of the run, it was about knowing that I went. Another way to do it is to have an accountability partner. So for example, have somebody who maybe is trying to build the same habit as you or shares an interest, or maybe somebody who is more experienced in somebody that you could talk about it with so that the habit becomes quite a relevant thing. So it's not something which you're keeping to yourself and it's on your mind, oh I need to do this, oh I should do this. Instead, make it a fun thing which can be social. For example, if it's working out, you can do it with a friend, and that when you've got to show up, even if you don't feel like it, you know you've got your friend going. Last summer I had a personal trainer, and that definitely worked on the accountability side of things because I wouldn't cancel my sessions because I knew she was going to be there, and I never missed a session, and there were days I didn't feel like going, but I always did. So if you're at the start of getting into a new habit, maybe try to do it at the same time every day. So I get up in the morning, and after I've written my morning pages, I always write my words of affirmation, and I do it at the same time every day. So it's something I do the same way as every night before I go to bed, I brush my teeth. And every time, that's when I do it. Before I go to bed, that's when I brush my teeth. After I write my morning pages, that's when I write my words of affirmation. It just, if it's part of your routine, it's easier to do. It stops being so much of a chore because it's just something which you do. The next thing is actually make time for the things you're doing. Okay, if you want to spend 10 minutes meditating, you might think, oh, 10 minutes isn't much on my day. But that's still 10 minutes out of your day which you don't usually take out of your day. So you need to figure out where that time's coming from. You don't want to end up missing out on your meditation because you're in a rush. Instead, know that you need to allow yourself an extra 10 minutes in the morning. Wake up earlier, spend less time on your phone, do whatever it is you have to do, but actually allow yourself the time. Don't just think you can keep the same routine and do more stuff. That's not how it works, sadly. Something's got to go. Time does get away with us, and there are always things you can do to make more time. I've written a blog post on this before, but a lot of us spend a lot of time on our phone without even realising it. A lot of us spend a lot of time on the bus, a lot of us spend a lot of time in bed, but there's always ways. So you can listen to your meditation app on the bus, or you can get up earlier, you can read on the bus, whatever the habit is, find somewhere that it fits into your day and actually ensure that you've got the time for it, not that you're trying to squeeze in something that won't fit, because if you are and you run out of time, that's going to be the thing which goes out the window. And then my last tip is to just immerse yourself and educate yourself on your habit, whatever habit it is you're building. Say if you want to do more drawing, go to a class and really get involved in the community. Say you want to do more reading, join a book club. Really make it part of your life. Don't just have it as a little extra. Make it something which is quite important to you. Or maybe you just want to have a more productive morning. Watch YouTube videos on more productive mornings. Honestly, there are so many great ones, but really immerse yourself in it. Don't let it become something which you think about and that's it. It needs to become something which you think about, you hear people talk about, you can listen to podcasts on this subject, make it a big deal, because why shouldn't you? And if you're trying to do something new, that is kind of a big deal. Right, I think that is it for today. I hope that video made sense. I hope it was helpful. Before we go, I have something to go on my vision board. So I just found this in a magazine and I thought I could fill this little space here. So it says, writing a novel is a marathon, you just have to keep chipping away. So I wanted to put this on my vision board because if you follow me a long time, you'll know I have been writing a novel for a while, but recently I've lost my motivation with it a bit, and so this seemed perfect because it's just a reminder. I just have to keep working on it and I will get there. So I'm going to pop that on my vision board and then we'll say goodbye. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your habit building tips down below. That would be really helpful. As you may already know, I have a blog. It is chloeharriets.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Pinterest and all of those good places at Chloe Harriets. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video. It would be really great if I can get some new subscribers over here. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Sending you good vibes. Bye.